Welcome to CavsHQ, presented by Sherwin-Williams. Thank you for joining us on Valley Sports Ohio and the Cavaliers Radio Network. Now, here are your hosts, John Michael and Rafa Hernandez-Brito.
Welcome for a final time this season to CavsHQ, presented by Sherwin-Williams. John Michael alongside Rafa Hernandez-Brito. The 2021 Cavaliers season is in the books, came to an end in Brooklyn, and one of the most unusual seasons in NBA history is now complete.
For sure, John, and I think, I always go back to this. When we started back on December 23rd, after feeling a little like pushed into, remember we were planning that we were going to start in January, but then it got moved so we could take advantage of the Christmas holiday, which has belonged to the NBA for so long. We didn't even know if we were going to make it to January.
Right.
The way that the world was shaping around, moving around us. So we have talked about the amazing job that the NBA has done, the great job the Cavaliers organization, together with the Cleveland Clinic, put together with the protocol for COVID-19. But the fact that we made it to 72 games, we will talk about later about all the growth and the future, what the future holds and everything. But I think it is something to admire, the fact that everybody came together and was able to put this season together.
What they pulled off last season in the playoffs in the bubble was spectacular. I mean, unprecedented. And then this season, there still was a lot of uncertainty. I mean, coming out of the bubble. Now we're going to try to do this for real once again. And off the NBA goes into the playoffs. I think the play-in tournament, obviously.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this is going to be fun. The way this is setting up for that play-in tournament in both conferences. Yes. I think the Eastern Conference playoffs are setting up to be some of the best playoffs we've seen in the East in a long, long time. So, hey, fun things straight ahead. I mean, get the popcorn, some good viewing in the NBA over the next 2 months.
The West, I think, is also intriguing.
Well, of course, the West is always intriguing. I mean,
whoever wins the play-in tournament gets the prize of facing Utah or Phoenix, if depending on how it goes. And in the East, I like what the Knicks did at the end. Avoid being walky in the first round, and also trying to see if they can win a series going down the stretch.
I like the Knicks in that series. You see it on the television side as the Knicks and the Hawks in that 4-5 game in the East. And how about the 7-8 play-in game in the West? We saw that those two teams, the Lakers and the Warriors, might be on a collision course.
Can this be considered the fifth round for those two?
This is, I mean, and the team that loses that game is only one away from getting completely knocked out of the playoffs. So I like both of their chances to get in. One of them's going to get in after the 7-8 game. The loser is going to have to beat either Memphis or San Antonio. Again, I like the Lakers and the Warriors' chances, but you want to talk about high pressure early in the playoffs? Yes. Here we go.
Pressure to win. And I think, speaking of winning, that's what CavsHQ has. I don't know if you know, but we have been nominated for an Emmy. Yeah. So we want to win.
Yes.
And we want to just channel all the winning for CavsHQ.
Do you know that in the first season of this show won an Emmy?
DMAC has it in display.
Well, listen, we didn't find out until about 4 months later, after we had won the Emmy.
So this is my promise for the Emmy. I have been selected by me. I think they're going to regret it. I have been selected to make the acceptance speech if we win. Right. It's going to be a virtual ceremony. Yeah. So if we win, it is the episode where we have Dogface and Jetty.
Yeah.
So if we win the Emmy, I promise you there'll be a video of me roller skating with the Emmy trophy and then taking a shower with washing my hair with Head and Shoulders and the Emmy trophy on the other hand.
Yeah,
if we win.
That'll work. I mean, which is in sharp contrast to the first season when I bet the award ceremonies were nice. We saw the pictures. There were people in tuxes accepting the award. This is not a bit. We literally were not in. We didn't even know that the ceremony existed.
I didn't even know they existed.
Right.
Correct.
So we not only didn't know it existed, we weren't invited, and then we won. This show won. You know what though? We weren't central enough of a part probably to be invited. Central part enough of the show. Obviously others. Others were.
There were multiple guests.
Guests of the show were invited, and the hosts were never informed that there was, and we won the Emmy Award in our first season. The next two seasons, nobody, we had a lot of momentum coming out of that first season, had wonderful guests the second and third season, nobody bothered to even make a submission. I mean, I'm no stickler for the rules, but I'm pretty sure you have to make a submission to have a chance to win the Emmy.
Yes.
And that did not happen.
And
in
if we win,
if
we win, I will also let the Academy know that we are very upset that the episode where you went into a small size shirt
That's right.
of JR's tattoos didn't win the Emmy.
It didn't because there was no submission. Nothing. Nobody bothered to make a submission. I found out this year. Now, credit our producer this season, Leo Simone, made a submission, and they told us about it, and we've been nominated for an Emmy.
Now,
so
I got to tell you
that's very
something.
nice.
I got to tell you something. There is a history behind this that CavsHQ before was Access Cavalier, was nominated for an Emmy, and it lost. The show lost to a needlepoint show.
It's interesting that you said that because now
I don't know who we're competing against.
Well, listen, I only looked at it briefly. I think we got the email between 7 and 10. This is a little tip. If you text Rafa and I between 7 and 10 on a game night, we're not going to be able to give full attention to your text or to your email. So I breezed through it. But in the category, there's CavsHQ, but there are other. I mean, one of the names of the other show was like, first of all, these are regional Emmys, right? So it's Ohio and Indiana and parts of Kentucky, and right, it's a big old region. Is my understanding of how this works. One of the shows in there is called Pandemic in Hoosierland, right? Like what? I'm like, are we in the right category? Another one is like Twisters of the Great Plains. Like the last time we talked about something serious on the show was never. I'm like, we cannot possibly be in the right category. Of course we're not going to
win with Dogface.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I don't like our chances against Pandemic and Hoosierland. How did we get into this category?
We can't compete.
And again, I didn't get a chance to look at it, but the title of our episode was called The One with Dogface. It's like, what? Everybody else came up with some nice titles. Like, again, like
Pandemic in Hoosierland
against the one with shit. Ours says The One with Dogface. Like, we could have thought up something nice like Dogface's Delight, Cran Apple Skate, anything. Ours says The One with Dogface.
I think we'll beat Pandemic in Hoosierland.
I do not. I don't like our chances at all. Or Twisters of the Midwest. I mean, probably somebody learned something valuable from that show, unlike anything that's ever been learned in 4 seasons, Emmy nominated or not, on this particular show.
I think I'm channeling the winning vibe.
Well, I don't like our chances, and up in the next segment, our chances are going to improve when this guy's on the show.
For
Cavs.com, Joe Gabriele. We're going to take a look back at the season that's straight ahead right here on the Emmy nominated and one-time Emmy winning, I guess, CavsHQ. And off we go here on CavsHQ as we're set to welcome in our special guest, friend of the show, Joe Gabriele, Cavs.com, as we take a look back at the season. I'm interested in getting Joe's take on some of his top moments of the year.
The Wolf, founder of Cavs.com, inventor of the internet, and creator of Wine and Gold Radio.
That's right. Let's bring him in.
The most hidden secret and treasure of the Cavs.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. It's nice. And here he is, apparently coming to us live from the set of Saw 3. Joe Gabriele, out by the woodshed.
He's coming from that insurance commercial, you know, when the kids are trying to hide and they go hide where all the tools are.
What a special surprise on this final episode of CavsHQ. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Actually, I'm checking in from the Cleveland of Cleveland, Garfield Heights.
Ah, very nice. So you are safe wherever you are. We're worried about your well-being.
No, it's completely safe. These are actually lawn tools, yeah.
Joseph, we're happy to have you with us. Let's get right to it, all right? We've talked about it a little bit on the other side of the break. Top moment of the season. Obviously, growth, a big part of what this team was all about this year. The young core coming around, Darius Garland making a huge jump from year 1 to year 2. But in terms of moments, or performances this season, where do you start?
Well, I mean, I think you have to start with Collins' 42-point game with Brooklyn. I mean, I think you have to start there because that was really, I thought that was the high point of the season. You beat a real contender. You beat him in 2 games. Colin was good the next night, actually. Jared Allen was good in both those games, but specifically Colin in those 2 overtime periods against Brooklyn. For me, that was the highlight of the season. And if I had to go like number 2, I would say Isaac Okoro against Phoenix in the overtime. I loved what he did. I loved him being assertive late. I think that's a big move, and I think that's a big step in his progress.
Yeah, for our fans, too, Okoro's career high had been 20 points. That night he goes for 32, and I think it was just a little snapshot of what he's capable of doing on the offensive end. You talk about that Kyrie game. I mean, there were a lot of eyes on that game, a lot of ears.
For a lot of reasons.
Listen to that game as well. The debut of the Brooklyn Big Three, they come to town, and Colin Sexton goes for 20 straight points on into that overtime and double overtime session to pull out the win.
I agree with you. You can't go wrong with that double overtime, especially after he hits his first triple with like a few seconds left in the first overtime and then just goes postal in the second. But to me, because I love stories of guys that work hard and then the hard work pays off, that double-double that Lamar Stevens had when he came off the bench and had the double-double and won the games against Atlanta, I think it was.
Dunk to beat Atlanta.
Dunk, and especially just thinking of what kind of text his grandmother was going to send him. And that, to me, is one of the moments because it is so gratifying to see somebody just collect the fruits of his effort.
So Lamar and Dean Wade both get texts from their grandmothers after every game.
Yeah. That's the key to make your 2-way contract into an NBA contract. Make sure your grandmother gets in it.
And for those who aren't as familiar with the story, Lamar Stevens' grandmother, the first time the Cavs played against the Clippers, said, "I can't believe it. You were guarding Mr. Leonard." Said, "You've really hit the big time," as you were dealing with Mr. Kawhi Leonard. There's a lot of stories like that, Joe. I mean, Fiondu Kabengele over the last portion of the season, players that – coming out of camp weren't expected to make the roster, or at least if they did, weren't expected to play a lot of meaningful minutes. Lamar Stevens is on that list. Isaiah Hartenstein, after being acquired at the trade deadline, I think fits into that category. Hey, Broderick Thomas, there's a lot of stories like that this season about players who were given opportunities and who really represented themselves well.
Yeah, that would be one of my top stories of the season, are those individual stories. I was thinking about that last night, and that a lot of these guys, some of these guys you really barely heard of before this year. Broderick Thomas is specifically a great story, and I love his game. On top of it, he's an aggressive player. He mixes it up. He's versatile, but all of them. Lamar Stevens was great. If you had told me Isaiah Hartenstein before the season, I would look at you with just I didn't know anything about the guy. So yeah, some of the discoveries that we made during the season, I thought that was one of the cooler parts of the season, really.
Joe, up against the break. Final thoughts. This season is in the books. What do you got?
Well, I mean, again, I think I'm the same as everybody moving forward. There's so much good young talent out there. They just need, again, it's puzzle pieces. You got to put it together now. But the pieces are there. There's so many pieces, and you're going to add another lottery pick. For me, the biggest thing this season was, Darius Garland. All these guys improved, but you didn't know what you had with Isaac Okoro before the season, and now you do. And that kid has a bright future in the NBA. So for me, he's the key to this past season. He's going to be a real good one.
I agree with you. And, they always say in this show that I always ask our guests for things, and I don't want you to feel left out. Can you put that face shield that you have behind you, can you put it on so you can say goodbye to us?
No, but I will fire up the chainsaw if you want.
All right.
I was going to say, speaking of pieces, stay safe. Yeah. Stay safe there in the woodshed until next season, Joe. Thanks for everything.
Thank you,
Wolfie. Back with more on CavsHQ from the woodshed, from the studio, right after this.
Varejao has to fire a prayer. Got it! Varejao! Can you believe it? Unbelievable!
I mean, Cleveland fans, they really took care of me, and that's why when I'm out there, I want to leave everything out there for you all.
From Brazil, number 17.
What you guys here in Cleveland did for me was huge. The support that I had from you guys. Thank you.
The Wild Thing, Anderson Varejao.
That's what I love about Cleveland. And Cleveland is a real city, real people here. This doesn't happen by accident.
I tell you what, if that doesn't bring a smile to your face, you're not human.
You got to say obrigado. Thank you in Portuguese, and we're all happy for that.
Oh, it was great seeing him back there on the floor. Listen, I mean, for a guy who hadn't been in the NBA for a couple of seasons, he was great. I mean, again, he played limited minutes out there on the floor, but I thought he looked great.
Not only that, but it looked clear that he has not lost anything about when he comes into the court. He brings in that energy and that injection of just willing and wanting to do something, leaving it on the court. You and I talked about it, and he laughed when I told him the story about how we talked. He went up and down the first time, and then the second time he's like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, as you would assume, and I like I said, what a joy just to see him back. And you mentioned just the attitude, to have that leadership, that never say die, leave it all out there attitude. I mean, it has to rub off. And boy, I mean, just a handful of weeks, but man, it's just been nice to have him back around the organization.
And the fact that he loves Cleveland.
Well,
I don't think there's nothing fake about it.
Yeah.
He literally feels himself as a Clevelander, and he never left. He just came back to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on the Cavs. But Cleveland has been his home, and where he's raising his beautiful family now.
Yeah, I mean, just great to have him back. Like I said, in the organization, a wonderful human being is Andy Varejao, and to me, a superb part of the last couple of weeks of this season.
For sure. And then again, he puts a smile on everybody's face, and it is what this organization is about. So this guy, the love for the game, the love for wanting to win, the love for wanting to get better every day. And I'm sure a lot of the young kids, we talk about our core, I'm sure they learn a lot in those 10 days that they spent with Anderson Varejao in practice.
You have to. From a 38-year-old to a 20-year-old, Isaac Okoro certainly deserving of consideration for one of the two all-rookie teams. And for this young man, Rafa, numbers only tell a slim fraction of the story.
I think, when you looked at what he had to go through this season, not only learning without having the summer to get used to the different speed of the game, but the fact that every night almost, John, he had to guard the best player on the other team.
Yeah. And
for most nights, did it in a way like he had been playing in this league for so long. And then you add to that the quote-unquote rookie wall that everybody's expected to hit because they come from playing 30 games to playing 72. And he literally saw that wall and ran through that wall because he had his best games at the end of the season.
To me, the biggest thing about this guy that makes him so likable was that, to a man, the coaching staff said he never even blinked. Mm-hmm. He never complained. His facial expression never changed. And, some nights, like all good defenders, by the best players in the league,
there is one or two players
you get roughed up.
You.
Sometimes you get roughed up, and he never complained. And the next night, he was out there again. The second half of this season, particularly, being so compressed. I mean, games coming at you fast and furious. It's Beal one night, and then the next night, he's facing Jaylen Brown and
Booker.
Right. I mean, it was something else.
I like what JB said in one of the press available. He said, he asks the right questions.
Right.
And he's willing to learn. And that's something that you cannot teach, John. Talent everybody has, but the willingness and the ability to put it into practice is something that you got to have. And this guy has been raised the right way because we had also the luxury to meet his parents, and he really rolled up his sleeves the second he came to Cleveland and became a Clevelander just by simply doing that, just working hard.
I said this on the air a couple of days ago. You know what scares me about votes like this? I mean, it's not broadcasters
popularity
anymore.
contest.
Well, that's one thing. But again, in what I call our fantasy football world, there's such a not a high percentage, but there is a solid percentage of football fans who are fantasy football fans now. And they can tell you who the third and fourth receiver, third and fourth, fifth running back for the Dolphins are, yet they can't name a single player on defense for the Dolphins. Why? Because it's all offensive numbers. And it concerns me, let's just say a little bit, that those who don't get to see every team in the NBA on a regular basis look at numbers, look at the stat sheet, and while Isaac Okoro led all rookies in minutes by a wide margin, the offensive numbers aren't at the top of the charts. And that concerns me, and it shouldn't be a concern, is my point, that hopefully the whole player and everything he's been all about and what he's meant to this team is taken into consideration when those votes are made.
You know what they should do? They should let the players vote on that, because if you hear about the players that came here or the people that he played for against when he was on the road, what they had to say about Isaac Okoro, it's something that to be considered, and he for sure should be in the all-rookie team.
When Jimmy Butler, this is Jimmy Butler, by the way, when Jimmy Butler after a game has glowing things to say about a 20-year-old rookie who's been up his shirt all night, right? I mean, that's not your typical reaction, right, to somebody who – one night, Jimmy Butler, I think, went 1 for 8 from the field when he was guarded by Okoro. And after the game – I mean, Jimmy Butler doesn't have kind things to say about his own teammates. Ask the Timberwolves, right? If he has a problem with you, everybody knows he has a problem with you, right? Had great things to say about Isaac Okoro. To me, it's a wonderful point, and enough said.
I think that should be considered a lot more than, the popularity voting contest that goes on.
Kid had a great year. I can't wait for year number 2 for Mr. Okoro. All right, we're up against the break. We'll be back right after this right here on CavsHQ.
CavsHQ is brought to you by Sherwin-Williams, the official paint and coatings partner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and by Huntington. If you need guidance on your money right now, talk to Huntington. Welcome.
Well, as you know by now, involvement in the community is a cornerstone of the Cavaliers organization, as Cavs Academy, Cavs official youth basketball program, has announced the dates and locations of its 2021 summer tour throughout Ohio and Pennsylvania. It's for boys and girls ages 3 to 16. Now, the Cavs Academy 2021 Summer Tour features 1-, 2-, and 3-day camps, weekly small group training sessions, and Cavaliers clinics for even the smallest of Cavs fans. Registration for all Cavs Academy events is now open at CavsYouth.com/summer tour. That's CavsYouth.com/summer tour. Cavs in the Community is brought to you by Discount Drug Mart. We'll be back with the second half of CavsHQ right after this. It's the second half hour of CavsHQ on tap and straight ahead. He's Rafa. I am John. Our producer, Leo Simone.
Just wanted to clear
Yes, he wanted to clear the air. We were talking about the Emmy submission. CavsHQ has been nominated for an Emmy Award. And
the one with Dogface and Jetty.
Yes, the name of the episode was called The One with Dogface. And we were laughing at that, because all of the other ones had such creative and nice titles, and they were very serious shows, by the way, which makes me not like our chances very much, because the other shows seem to actually have a point. But our producer, Leo, said, have you heard of this show called Friends? And I said, yes, I have heard of that show. And he said, each and every one of those episodes was titled the one where Ross does this or the one where Rachel does that. So, in fact, the person, our producer, who is way more creative than either of us.
Maybe that's why we'll win.
Right. He made a submission.
Question for you.
Which in and of itself is fun.
Have you ever watched an episode of Friends?
Bits and pieces.
What about The Office?
I have not seen The Office. Everybody tells me I love The Office. I got shamed on
the other day because I said I never watched one single, not even the opening credits of either show.
I know I've watched bits and pieces of Friends. I think I would like The Office. You know what's strange, though? I need to be told when to laugh. I don't like shows without a laugh track. Makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't know whether I'm supposed to be laughing. Is that funny? Or
maybe you should watch it with people. So if they laugh, you laugh.
There you go. That solves all of our problems. So in this segment coming up, well, let's back up for a second. There are certain people in life who are givers, right? And those are the people that typically you want to surround yourself with, who you want to be around. And there are people on the other end of the spectrum, like my co-host. Right. So each and every, I mean, for those who are familiar with the show, you know how this works. Guests come on this show, and typically on shows like these, there's a big budget, and the guest gets a little gift, a little token of our appreciation. This show does not work like that, does it?
No, and I wonder if the Emmys have it like that too. Since I'm accepting, do they have like a gift bag like the way they do in the Oscars?
That's a good question. Since we were invited to this Emmy ceremony, now we can find it. In our fourth season,
I'll pick yours bag.
We were nominated and actually invited to the ceremony. So that's not. You can find out. Let us know.
I think the guests get comfortable when I ask them
for stuff. That makes them comfortable. But they have to now search their brains to think of something to give
well,
you.
It's usually just taking part of their stuff.
Like giving a token of their appreciation that you allowed them on your show. That's what's taking place here. I don't understand. What is the mentality behind that? Typically, you want to be around people who give. You are not one of those people.
I think the fact that I'm willing to wear their stuff or use, eat whatever they cook.
You fashion yourself that important. That when you wear their stuff. Whoa.
I'm appreciating their work. It has nothing to do with me.
All right. Well, without any further ado, look at all of the gratitude that Rafa has thrown around over the last couple of months.
Rafa asks?
Yeah, Rafa, entitled Rafa Asks.
I rarely do this during the show on CavsHQ, but I'm going to go off script a little bit here. And is there a way that you can put Joe Michael and I on a cameo appearance on your next video, your next music video? Can we make a cameo appearance? I don't know what the role would be, but I think it'd be cool.
Absolutely. I'm actually getting ready to shoot in this video within the next week or so too. So I definitely would love it if you guys have you guys. By
the way, I'm in Miami as well, so if you want to go out and get some croquetas and cafecito, I'm over it.
You have to take me. I would love that.
Listen, CavsHQ is always looking to help, and I think we have come up with a plan that we're willing to be part of. How about we do it like a mini summer league in Vegas for 2 weeks? The 8 teams that didn't get invited, plus the 16 that are going to be left out, right? And then John and I can go and also practice, keep our voices and our rhythm in tune, so we can go, 1 or 2 weeks in Vegas and play some basketball every day.
If we're gonna go to Vegas, we might as well go to the Bahamas or San Diego or somewhere like that.
Little bubble, right?
Yeah. If we're gonna travel, let's really travel.
And let me ask you a question about that. Are those real people but they put them on the screen or is that how that is?
I've been trying to get on it, and they won't allow me in. And I asked the producers and the technical hired to do kind of like hack the system and put me in one of those things that I fan, but I haven't been successful at it, they see. So I don't know. I wanted to ask you, Jerry, how many commercials do you do, and what's your contact? Because I want to see if I can do the Head and Shoulders commercial back in El Salvador. Maybe international connection there. I don't know. What do you think? And at least once this season, please call a goal like a soccer goal. Goal instead of his cars.
Terrible advice, Tony. It's terrible advice. Don't do that at all.
I'll put that on the list, Rafa, and we'll just see if that happens.
Para Puri, de regreso para Puri. Goal! I have a request before you. Next time you hit a 3 when you're at home at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, the Spanish broadcast is behind the cat bench. Just pull like a Dean Wolf move when you hit the 3, so we know you're looking at us.
Okay, I got you.
All right, yeah.
I got you, yes, sir.
Hey, Dean, don't do that.
A question for you. I heard you took Spanish lessons during the pandemic. How did those go? ¿Cómo está el español? ¿Está listo para estar con los Cavs en español?
So easy now. So I'm gonna learn, that's for sure.
I can help you with your homework, and then you can be my guest on the pregame.
Yeah, Jetty, I was going to say, let me give you a warning. Ask Jose Calderon, ask Andy Varejao, who spoke Portuguese and Spanish. If you learn Spanish, Rafa will have you as his pregame and postgame
Every
guest
game.
for all 72 games. So don't do it. You'll be stuck. It's going to be his only option. I'm just giving you fair. Ask Jose. I'm giving you fair warning. Do not do it.
Hey, even if I learn, I'm not gonna say.
Right, exactly.
I'm not gonna tell you, Rafa. I'm not gonna.
A, thank you for joining us. B, I cannot believe he didn't ask you for free stuff.
No, wait.
But
Before we go, I'm sorry. You have a sweatshirt at the team show that says "Go Cavs" and it's from Homage.
Yes.
And I had started a campaign online asking them to do one that says "Vamos Cavs."
Okay.
So Amy said we're gonna pull it through for Noche Latina. In
Okay.
March.
Well, you can pay for it, but
I'll
be
model
there.
it.
I mean,
I'll pay for that.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
We love working with Homage, so we'll do something. We don't know what yet, so no promises yet.
Amy,
We're gonna see what
I'll
we
keep
can
on putting pressure.
Hey, before you go, usually the guests, when they come on the show, they always like to give us something. Do you think it's possible that we can have a Vamos Cavs pair of kicks made?
Listen, 2 conditions for that. Vamos Cavs kicks can definitely be made, but you're gonna have to put them somewhere in the background of all those books that I know you don't read. You're gonna have to put them there so that people can actually see them, and then you gotta get me one of those Vamos Cavs shirts, because I am the most Hispanic-looking white guy you're gonna meet in your life.
Before we let you go, David, I got an idea. For the 50th All-Star game, they got jackets. They have the top 50 players. I think for the 75th, we should have a parade, and I suggest I should be the marshal of the parade. And celebrate with the top 75 players in the NBA. And if they get a jacket, extra large for me, please.
So here's what I can tell you. I have no control over it. We'll certainly run the idea by the NBA. But the jacket, some kind of jacket, that we can take care of.
I warned you not to give in to him. I know it's hard to wear you down for the whole interview.
I've heard much worse before.
Rafa, and I forgot to tell you too, the mango was delicious. Just so you know.
Excellent. What about the bobblehead? I see you have the boxes over there. I mean, I thought it was going to be front and center.
Hey, he wasn't far away from you, Rafa. I had to go get him, but he wasn't far away.
You're the man.
Why do you humor him? Why do you encourage this guy, Coach? Please. If it was in the corner in the waste can, it would be a heck of a lot better.
Hey, I did have to grab him out of the garbage can, don't I?
That's right. It is worth noting that in JB's final scrum of the season, he actually and directly said to Rafa, I do not want another bobblehead. He did.
I offer him mangoes because I sent him mangoes for my backyard in Miami, and he said, "Don't send me another bobblehead."
Yeah. He said, "Keep your mangoes and don't send me a bobblehead."
You see, that's why I asked, because when I give, nobody takes.
Well, in this case, thank goodness, JB doesn't want another bobblehead. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back with more Cavs HQ right after this. Hey, we're back on Cavs HQ. We'll remind you that Westfield is helping small businesses shine more brightly. Together with the Cavs, Westfield congratulates the 2021 Small Business Spotlight winner. It's Boss Chicken Beer in Bay Village and Berea. Nominate your favorite local business serving the food industry at Cavs.com/Westfield. This is our Uncorked segment. It is brought to you by Knocking Point, and we got to do something quite nice with them just the other day, didn't we?
Anything that has to do with sampling is good. And anything that has to do with myself, and I'll throw you in this, trying to be anything close to Mr. Cavalier.
Right.
Austin Carr, who was the sommelier.
Right.
What was the other word that I couldn't?
Enophile? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Be careful with that word.
A person that knows wine.
Yeah.
He designed the Cavs Cab with Knocking Point, they are the official wine of the Cavaliers and the official wine of sports. So now they ask, listen to this lineup.
Big
Jim
lineup.
Jones,
right.
Campy Russell, John Michael and yours truly to sample and decide which blend
is right.
would be the one chosen to be the second Cavs Knocking Point wine, which will celebrate the 5th year anniversary of our 2016 championship.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's coming soon if you want.
All of the samples were delicious. We had to narrow it down to one.
I had to take like extra sample just to make sure I picked the right.
Rafa threw out. Could you fill this one back up here?
I didn't quite get like the flavor.
Right. But here it is. Without any further ado, take a look.
Here we are to pick the second wine between Knocking Point and the Cavs. You know, this one is not only special to us, obviously, but special to the Cavs or the Cavs organization and to the city of Cleveland because due to the timing here, I think we've got a kind of a special anniversary coming up. The last one that we did, Cavs Cab, our first project together, AC got to play sommelier and pick it, but now we're doing kind of a selection by committee today. Why don't we kick it off with the first blend?
I guess we have to taste this to figure out what the championship wine is gonna be. So salud. I don't know if it's like in movies when you watch a movie over and over and over. There's always a scene you don't remember. There's always a couple of plays that I forget which way the ball bound.
This was almost a spiritual moment. No, the moment was the game's moment, and people were listening to the game. No commentary would have been sufficient from me. And John carried that thing beautifully.
Loose ball tip, grabbed by Spades. Spades fires, and this one is over. Believe it, Cleveland. Savor it. Soak it in. The kid from Akron has come home. The Cavaliers are NBA champions, and the impossible dream has come true.
But the most amazing thing to me about this game, or that game in particular, was the play that goes unnoticed, and that was the play that JR made. He would have slowed Iguodala down at that particular time and made Iguodala hesitate just long enough for LeBron to get there.
But when I watch videos of the people celebrating, watching the game outside of the queue at the time of Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse now, I wish I was there.
We're play-by-play guys. We called Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and the team we were working for won the game. Right, that's the ultimate ever. We were in there, champagne poured on our head, celebrating, and then we see those videos, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was there with Campy and those guys.
So should we go into a little survey here of what you guys tasted? What the initial impression?
For me, it was between 2 and 3.
But 2 is, two, then 3, then 1.
A good blend from the standpoint of crispness, taste. It just did it for me.
Look, I think 2's our winner.
What else left? I mean, that's what you strive for all your life, is to be a champion and be recognized.
Everybody was out downtown. Everybody was dancing in the intersections. There was no violence. There was no nothing. It was just jubilation and everybody feeling good that the Cavaliers or Cleveland has finally won the World Championship.
So was that the one you picked?
Yes, and that's the one I picked. And just so everybody knows, the wine celebrates 5 years since winning the 2016 NBA championship and the first ever NBA title. We all know, right, with the Cavaliers. Yeah. But it was designed in-house by Cavaliers creative team. And senior graphic designer Blaine Friddick, who designed the label that features the championship ring and pays homage to the iconic 3-1 comeback and Game 7 final. And that will be one of the best days of my life.
The whole idea is fun, and it's easy to get behind. I mean, it's great. And again, the concept is good, and the folks, the owners and the marketers for Knocking Point are good people and fun to be around. And the whole, I don't know, the whole ordeal's not the right word, but the whole process has been fun to be around.
You learn. And also, by the way, CavsWine.com, June 1st, it kicks off. I just got to tell you, you are all going to love the name of the wine.
All right.
I'll leave it at that.
You know what it is?
I know what it is. CavsWine.com, June 1st. Just get on that, and you can not only shop it, but also send it home, consume it, and enjoy the name of the wine.
Rafa has all the inside information. We're going to take our final break and be back to wrap things up on this, the final edition of the season of CavsHQ. Back inside Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse one final time. Boy, a lot of thank yous. A lot of thank yous, certainly in order. We start with our producer, Leo Simone. You've been fantastic.
The
this
one with
season,
the title.
my friend. Yeah, what's that?
The one with the name of the segment.
The one with the name of the segment that's been nominated for an Emmy. Thank you, Leo. So many people to thank. Cecil and Robert are wonderful cameramen this season. Robin Cattler. How about our engineers? Joe Fritch and Pete Berman, Casey Koulis.
The best in the business.
Off the chart under circumstances.
this
The last couple months, the last year, under extraordinary circumstances, obviously, having to work in tight quarters, they were just amazing, off the chart.
I always say it, and I'm not joking about it, and I'm lying to you. We have the best engineering squad.
We do.
In all of sports, not just the NBA.
Yeah. So hats off.
Big Daddy also, Marty Allen.
Marty Allen, Kurt McLaughlin. They've been a big boost, big help for a decade for me personally. So thank you, guys. And you, my friend, enjoy the off season. I mean, you're still pretty formal over there for the off season.
I have to do another meeting that should have been a phone call
Somebody's
or an
a
email.
Big deal. Somebody's a big deal.
But also,
here.
we wish Dirty Kurt best of luck in the Belmont. I don't think he's had good luck in the Preakness and
nor in the Derby.
Derby.
Nor in the Derby. So, Curdy, we're thinking about you. Hey, for you, the fans. None of this takes place without you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the kind words over all the years. And have a terrific off season. For Rafa, I'm John. Until next time, so long.
Adios.